Have you ever helped someone with all your heart and they never even said thank you? Have you ever stayed up late solving someone else's problems while your own life was quietly falling apart? Have you ever given so much of yourself that one day you looked in the mirror and barely recognized the tired person staring back at you? There is a painful truth that kind people often learn too late. Being good does not always protect you. Sometimes, if you are not careful, it slowly destroys you. You say yes when your heart wants to say no. You show up when you are exhausted. You give when you have nothing left. And instead of respecting your kindness, some people begin to expect it. Then they demand it. Then they use it. And the most painful part, the moment you finally say no, the moment you finally choose yourself, they call you selfish. They say you have changed. They accuse you of becoming cold. But what if the real problem was never your kindness? What if the real problem was that you were kind without boundaries? Let me tell you a story about a man who learned this lesson the hard way. His name was Daniel. Daniel lived in a small, peaceful village surrounded by green hills and a quiet river that flowed gently along the edge of the fields. The village was simple. The people were hardworking. Life was not luxurious, but it was steady. Everyone knew everyone, and everyone knew Daniel. He was not the richest man in the village. He did not own the largest farm. He did not hold any position of power. But if you asked anyone to describe him, they would all say the same thing. Daniel is the kindest man here. If someone needed help carrying heavy sacks of grain, Daniel was there. If an elderly neighbor needed repairs on a broken door, Daniel arrived with his tools before sunrise. If a child lost his way, Daniel would walk him home. If someone was in debt, Daniel quietly offered money without asking for interest, without asking for guarantees. He had a calm smile and patient eyes. When people spoke, he listened. When they complained, he comforted. When they struggled, he supported. He never rushed anyone. He never raised his voice. And most importantly, he never said no. At first, being known as the kindest man in the village made Daniel feel proud. People praised him openly. Daniel has the purest heart. Daniel never refuses anyone. Daniel is a blessing to us all. Those words felt warm. They made him feel valuable, important, needed. And Daniel believed something simple. If I am good to everyone, life will be good to me. But slowly, almost invisibly, something inside him began to weaken. Each day, someone knocked at his door. Some needed tools. Some needed labor. Some needed advice. Some needed money. Daniel rarely had a quiet morning. He rarely had an afternoon to himself. Even when he planned to rest, someone would arrive with an urgent problem. He told himself, it's okay, helping others is the right thing to do. But at night, when the village grew silent and the lamps were blown out, Daniel lay awake staring at the ceiling. His body ached. His hands were rough and cracked from endless work. His back throbbed. His mind felt restless. He would whisper into the darkness, why am I so tired all the time? He was doing good. So why did he feel so empty? One hot summer morning, his neighbor, Mr. Clark, came knocking loudly. Daniel, I need help fixing my roof before the rain starts. It must be done today. Daniel had already spent the entire week helping others. He had repaired a fence for one family, harvested crops for another, and spent 2 evenings comforting a grieving friend. His muscles were sore. His eyelids felt heavy. He had planned to rest that day. Just one day for himself. For the first time in a long while, his heart whispered, you need a break. But when he opened the door and saw Mr. Clark's anxious face, guilt rose immediately. If I don't help, who will? He thought. So he forced a smile and said, of course, I'll come. Under the burning sun, Daniel climbed onto the roof and worked for hours. Sweat poured down his face. His shirt clung to his skin. His hands blistered as he hammered and lifted heavy wooden beams. By the time he finished, the sun was setting. Daniel climbed down slowly, exhausted. Mr. Clark looked at the roof, nodded once, and said, good. That should hold. I'll need you next week to fix the fence too. That was it. No thank you. No offer to return the favor. No concern for Daniel's exhaustion. Just another task added to the list. Daniel walked home slowly that evening. Something inside him felt different. Not just physical pain. Something deeper. He sat on his bed and stared at his hands. Why does it feel like no matter how much I give, it's never enough? He whispered. A few days later, his longtime friend Andrew visited him. Daniel, brother, Andrew said warmly, placing a hand on his shoulder. I'm in trouble. I need 50 silver coins. I promise I'll return it next month. Daniel had lent Andrew money before, once, then twice, then 3 times. Each time, Andrew had promised to repay him. Each time, he never did. But Daniel didn't want to seem distrustful. He didn't want to ruin their friendship over money. Friends don't count coins, he told himself. So once again, he handed over the money. Months passed. Andrew never mentioned it. One evening, Daniel gently brought it up. Andrew, about the coins I lent you. Andrew's expression changed instantly. What? You're bringing that up? I thought we were close. Since when do you keep track of every little thing? Daniel felt a sharp pain in his chest. He was the one who gave, yet somehow he felt ashamed for asking. He apologized. Apologized for wanting his own money back. That night, something broke inside him. He realized a truth he had been avoiding. He was not being respected. He was being used. The final turning point came during a village gathering. The old well had dried up and a new one needed to be built. The villagers discussed the plan, talking loudly in the town square. Then someone casually said, Daniel can build it. Immediately, others nodded. Yes, Daniel will handle it. He's always willing. He never refuses. No one asked him if he had time. No one discussed payment. No one offered to help. They simply decided for him. Daniel sat there silently, his chest tight. For the first time, he didn't feel pride. He felt resentment. His kindness had become an expectation. His generosity had become an obligation. His goodness had become a prison. That evening, Daniel walked alone to the riverbank. He sat on a smooth stone and stared at his reflection in the water. He looked older than his years. His eyes were tired. His shoulders slumped. An elderly traveler passing through the village noticed him and sat nearby. You look like a man who gives everything and receives nothing, the stranger said gently. Daniel looked up in surprise. How do you know? The traveler smiled. I have seen many men like you. Kind hearts, empty spirits. Daniel swallowed. I only try to do what is right, and what does it cost you? The traveler asked quietly. Daniel stared at the river. My strength, my peace, my happiness. The traveler picked up a small stone and tossed it into the water. Kindness without wisdom, he said, is self-destruction. Daniel frowned. But helping people is good? Yes, the traveler agreed. But not everyone deserves unlimited access to your time, your energy, and your resources. When you are always available, your time loses value. When you never say no, your yes becomes meaningless. When you help those who exploit you, you teach them to disrespect you. The words hit Daniel deeply. So what should I do? He asked. Be kind, the traveler said, but be wise. Help, but set limits. Give, but protect yourself. Your goodness is a gift. Do not hand it to those who treat it carelessly. That night, Daniel could not sleep, but it was not from exhaustion. It was because something inside him had awakened. The next morning, Mr. Clark returned. Daniel, ready to fix my fence? Daniel's heart pounded. Fear rose inside him. What will people say? What if they stop liking me? But another voice whispered, and what about you? Daniel took a deep breath and said, no. Mr. Clark blinked. What? I need rest, Daniel said calmly. You will have to find someone else. Mr. Clark's face turned red with anger. After all these years? Daniel stood firm. I have helped many times, but I cannot keep giving without balance. He closed the door gently. His hands trembled. His heart raced. But inside, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Relief. Word spread quickly. Daniel has changed. He's becoming selfish. He's not the same kind man. Andrew returned, asking for more money. Daniel looked at him steadily. No, you never repaid the previous loans. Andrew scoffed. You've changed. Yes, Daniel replied quietly. I have. For the first time, he did not feel guilty. Weeks passed. Something unexpected happened. People began to treat him differently. They asked instead of assuming. They offered payment or help in return. Some stayed away entirely, revealing that they valued only what they could take. One afternoon, a young farmer named Samuel approached him. Daniel, I need help repairing my barn. I can pay you, and I'll help you with your harvest next season. Daniel saw sincerity in his eyes, respect, partnership. And Daniel smiled genuinely. Let's work together. As they built side by side, Daniel felt balanced. His kindness was no longer draining him. It was strengthening him. Months later, the traveler returned and found Daniel by the river again. But this time, Daniel stood tall. His eyes were calm. His face carried peace. "You have changed," the traveler said. "Yes," Daniel replied. "I used to think being good meant giving everything to everyone. Now I know real goodness requires boundaries." "And how do you feel?" the traveler asked. Daniel looked at the sky and answered softly, "Free." If you are the person who always says yes, if you are the one everyone depends on, if you feel used, drained, invisible, listen carefully. Your kindness is not weakness, but kindness without boundaries will destroy you. You are not selfish for protecting your energy. You are not wrong for saying no. You are not cruel for demanding respect. Real kindness is wise. It chooses carefully. It protects peace. It honors self-worth. One person who respects your heart is worth more than 100 who exploit it. Being kind is beautiful, but being wisely kind is powerful.